So we're standing in the 50-yard line of the Sanford Jackrabbit Athletic Complex. The SJAC has become a model building in college sports. Very unique. It's got clear span structure, has a 300-meter track, an indoor practice field, 80 yards. And as Coach Stig, I'll never forget when he says, "I need some extra space over there for the fat guys." So this is an all-in-one complex that serves all sports, outdoor sports. We're celebrating its 10th anniversary, which is extraordinary. Time flies. But why'd you do this facility first?
So I think when you think about our climate and all the things that need to be indoors for so many months of the year, it just became a priority. And then you tied in the extra space that was athletic training, physical therapy, our team physicians and their clinic. And when you talk about the student athletes, and really the biggest gift we can give them is their time, now all of a sudden all of those activities were all kind of put together in the same spot. And so we were really able to enhance the student athlete experience through this.
You established momentum with the Dyke House. You just touched on how you built on the momentum from this facility with the stadium. Can you just elaborate a little bit more as far as you've created a legacy? How'd you get there?
Yeah, I think, well, you know, a lot like, and one of the reasons, one of the favorite parts of my job is on the kind of capital project side and the building side, because when you think about the work you do and what architects do, you're starting with something and you're starting with an idea, and then you've got to work through and figure out what are all the pieces and things that we need to make it go, and then how are we going to fund it and how are we going to put it together. And like your company, we're looking at how can we be relevant for the next 40 years. These decisions aren't made in I just need to win this year. Like, we need to keep this going. And so each one of these, as you build that momentum and you stack it up, if you take that long view, and we often say here, we play the infinite game. And so every decision you're making today, yeah, it might help you win today, but it's also going to have an impact a week from now, a year from now, or 10 years from now. The design process and what you put together is no different. And finding people, I'm pretty good at communicating like an idea or something, but finding people that you can work with that can bring that idea to life, share the same values. And one of the things I've always appreciated about you and your team, everybody we've worked with, is just you invested in us. You asked us, what do we need as the end user? How can we make that happen? How can we make that better? Here's some things we're seeing. How can we leverage that within driving more revenue so you can create championship experiences? Or understanding what our fans in this part of the country need on a game day. It could be very different than somewhere in the South. Understanding how this is going to fit into our university. And ultimately, I think you read our university kind of mission statement and what our culture is about and what those core values are. And you've lived them in the design process. And I think they're the same things you live in your company. So who you partner with at the end of the day makes a huge difference on your ability to have a shared vision and create success. And you and your team have been a big part of that for us here.
And back at you. Back at you. I've always talked about, building relationships, building lasting partnerships. And I think at the core of that is creating facilities that can change with time, can expand, we don't preclude any future opportunity. And that takes a little bit of crystal ball glazing, and working hand in hand with you to talk through what your future vision is. Again, look at that crystal ball. What do you see coming, and how important is facilities like this in that is the landscape changes not only for college athletics, but also academics as well?
Yeah, I think first, there are challenges in higher education. There's challenges in our society. Yeah. And then you take in challenges with enrollment on most of our campuses, which we're doing great here at South Dakota State. And then you look at all the challenges within athletics, whether it's transfer issues, name, image, and likeness, antitrust, settlements, all the different pieces. And I think at the end of the day, what we're really trying to do here is be able to focus in on how do we win today? how do we invest in other people? If you keep those things at core to who you are, success follows. And we can control today within the context of the best version of us, which includes all of these facilities, is going to have a very meaningful spot in whatever happens or whatever college athletics may look like. However, that might fit into higher education and what our role is in that, because it's really important that we play a big role for our school in the right way. And so when you think about it all, I don't know anyone could say we have a clear crystal ball and we know exactly where things are going. We at South Dakota State plan on continuing to invest in our student athletes and their experiences, which means their scholarships, which means nutrition, which means all the things that they need to do to have a great experience regarding their academics, but it also means facilities. And I think it'll be interesting over the next several years as people, especially at the highest level, have to figure out where their resources go. I think some facility projects could be put on hold. We look at that as an opportunity for us to move forward. We have a chance to grow and advance and take steps again on our competition. The pandemic was a really tough time, right? But it taught us so many great lessons. Win today, have plans A, B, C, D, and E ready, and then figure out how to plug those in as you move along. So we're practiced in this, and we're staying true to who we are. So I have a feeling we're gonna knock a few more facilities off here. Hopefully before I retire, we can get most of them done. That would be my goal, because I wanna come back as a fan of this place and to sit in those exact stands and have a sense of pride that South Dakota State University can be great for the next 50 years.
This is a high bay space. It was designed to accommodate 90% of your kicking practice. And you know, I walked in today and I saw that banner, which is perfect in this space. Can you share that story a little bit? Because that's an extraordinary banner.
I look at that sign because that sign, we had College Game Day come here October 26th of 2019.
Yeah.
And we were on our college green, and we have an art museum in the middle of campus, and there's this big, huge white wall that was in kind of the background of all the crowd shots. So it was your $1 million shot. And so me and my staff sat down and said, hey, we've got to do something to capture that. Our brand needs to be out there. And there were a few Power 5 schools at the time that had an opportunity to do the same thing, and they didn't want to invest or put the money into it. And I think the different level of what College Game Day means, for most of them, they probably had it before. It's a little more, regular business.
Right.
But for us, it was game changing. For this university, for Brookings, South Dakota, the state of South Dakota, Pat McAfee's first day on College Game Day, which he's obviously gone on and done amazing things. And he's wearing a cut-off sleeveless hoodie with the jackrabbits on it. I mean, you think about all those things. That banner is what we decided to put up on that art museum. And I would argue it was worth $50 million. I don't know if you could even put a value on what that was that day for our branding, for our university. We obviously have a unique logo and mascot and our school colors, and just it brought everything together. So when we had 15,000 people on that college green, and you had that sign framed in the back, and you've got Pat McAfee and the whole group up there, I mean, if you had chills running up and down your spine if you're a Jackrabbit fan, because it's not something you could have ever envisioned as part of this dream. And there it happened. And now to walk in here every day and be able to have that thing up there, it's pretty cool.